I've taken an in-depth look at the third generation Yonex Astrox 88S and D Pro models. Now, let's take a closer look at the more budget-friendly versions, the Tour, Game, Play rackets for both the 88S and 88D. Let's go. A quick reminder to everyone that's new to the channel to say Yonex splits their rackets into different price brackets, with top-of-the-line models getting Pro label behind their model number, Tour being one price point below the Pro, and Game one more step behind the Tour, with the Play coming in as the most budget-friendly option of the bunch. Obviously, the specs within the more budget-friendly rackets are also tailored with trickle-down technology, so they're designed to feel somewhat similar to the Pro models, but also carry identical looks. The highest end Pro rackets are produced in Japan, whilst the mid-range models of the Tour and Game are produced in Taiwan, and the Play coming from Yonex's factories in China. So with that said, we have plenty of rackets in our hands today, especially if you're considering both racket weights of 3U and 4U models. So let's go through some of the highlights and differences with this third generation of the Astrox 88 series. Many of you will immediately recognize that there isn't a specific S or D model for the Play racket this time round. Previous generation had both the 88S Play and 88D Play. Personally, only producing one racket for the most budget-friendly racket in this series was a great move. This narrows down the options for players, and this will help many players go for the right racket, which fits their budget and needs. Next, all S model rackets are still 5mm shorter than the D counterparts, as they're designed to be quicker and more maneuverable, especially to help players during those shots that requires faster reactions. Also, all the rackets look almost identical, with silver and black being the main colors of the rackets, but to help you spot what rackets they are, especially when you're in the store, look out for the racket handles. Black racket handles are the S variant rackets, and white racket handles are the D models. Alternatively, the opposite works for the colors on the T joints. Silver are for the S rackets and black for the D rackets. All rackets have the power assist bumper on top of the racket at the 12 o'clock section, including the Play model. I did say in my 88S and 88D Pro review that Yonex did a great job in getting the power assist bumper to fit the frame really well, to be as seamless and aerodynamic as possible. I then realized after removing a set of the power assist bumpers from the 88D Tour rackets that Yonex had customized the top of the frame to ensure the fit was completely seamless, and that section does have a different profile compared to the rest of the racket where the other grommets sit. That power assist bumper section has a little lip in the middle, whilst other sections are flat. I don't expect many replacements of the power assist bumpers throughout the lifetime of the rackets, as the main strings shouldn't tear or damage the power assist bumper, but standard grommets fit just fine and will conform to that little lip in the frame once the strings are pulled under tension. It's good to see Yonex standardizing this design feature across all the Astrox 88 rackets. And speaking about frames, maybe you guys might want to protect your precious badminton racket frames from chips and scratches with the premium racket protection tape, with free delivery worldwide on ckYW.com/shop. We also have some super limited edition player signed prints too. Another design spec which is standardized is the shaft length across all the rackets. All models of the rackets had 21.5cm of shaft length, except the 88D Game and 88 Play, which was only half a centimeter shorter at 21cm. There are some slight differences with shaft diameters, but mostly almost identical to the 88S and the 88D Pro rackets. Frame size and thickness across the whole series were also pretty standardized too, with every single racket, even the Pro models. The frame thickness for all rackets were between 9.6mm to 9.9mm, and all the S model rackets had slightly bigger frames, measuring in at 23.8cm tall and 18.7cm wide. The D models were a touch smaller, with their frames at 23.5cm tall and 18.5cm wide. The 88 Play had the biggest frame at 23.8cm tall by 18.8cm wide. All models except the Play have fully recessed frame profiles from the 8 o'clock area to the 4 o'clock area. The Play have just a standard 60% top half recessed frame profile. For the racket handle lengths, all the S model rackets have a 16.5cm racket handle length, and all the D models have a slightly longer 17cm handle. The 88 Play have the same handle length as the S rackets at 16.5cm. In terms of strings, Yonex recommends the Aerobite Boost for hard-hitting players who prefer the 88S series, and the plain Aerobite for the control style player. For the 88D rackets, Yonex recommends their latest string, the Export 68, for hard-hitting players, and again, Aerobite for the more controlled player. Personally, I strung all the rackets with my usual string setup of Aerobite at 27 by 29 pounds, and all the rackets had no issues at all with the stringing. All 4U weight Astrox 88 rackets are rated to 28 pounds of string tension, and 3U models up to 29 pounds. Also, if you ever need any badminton related equipment, check out Central Sports. They have been the home of badminton in the UK for more than 40 years. It's a one-stop shop for every badminton player, whether you're just getting started, a regular club player, or competing at the highest level. Central Sports will cater to all your badminton needs, and you can get your favorite racket brands with free upgrades, including getting a free custom autograph on your racket, where you can have a flag and custom text on your favorite racket. Central Sports also provides clothing, shoe and bag customization options for you, so you can personalize all your equipment to your liking. They look good, don't they? You can check out the store in person and online, and remember to always use my discount code of CKYW for additional discounts too. Thank you again to Central Sports. So how do they all play compared to their pro counterparts? First of all, if you want the in-depth review of the Astrox 88S and 88D Pro rackets, go watch it here. With that, I'll start with the 88D Tour and Game models first. I focused on spending more time with all the 4U variants, as I personally play with the 4U weight rackets, and also Yonex's 3U models scale very well in terms of racket weights, weight distribution and handling. As expected, the third generation of the Yonex Astrox 88D Tour is very similar to the third generation Astrox 88D Pro. This is because the 88D Tour carries almost every single piece of tech across from the Pro model. The frame design and shape, check. Power assist bumper, check. Second generation NAMD Flex Force, also check. The only difference is the use of the flexible repulsive composite material, where the Pro model used CFR, carbon fiber rubber, in the racket frame manufacturing process, whilst the Tour and Game models use CSR, core shell rubber, during the manufacturing process. I guess CSR is a more affordable variant of the CFR in this instance, and according to Yonex, the CFR and CSR materials are used to increase the shoulder hold time on the racket, whilst trying to increase power transfer with that trampoline effect. However, I do find the 88D Tour more demanding compared to the 88D Pro. Speed and power feels good on the Tour, but it's just a little bit more demanding to pull off the same shots as the Pro. On paper, both rackets look identical, but I just find the Tour that little bit harder to play, and I have to work that little bit harder to get the shots I want, or get it to where I'm happy with. If we look at the 88D Game, I instantly felt it was more flexible compared to the other two. The Game was also faster compared to the Tour, and because of the reduction in stiffness, it also felt easier to play with, especially for those off-time shots. I find my experience with the 88D Game really enjoyable, and I found it quite forgiving, which is good for us all. And since we're already at the 88D Game, let's now take a look at the 88 Play. You guys know I like the Play rackets, be it the Arxib 11 Play, Arxib 7 Play, or other Astrox or Nanoflare Play rackets. I find the Play rackets have a lot of great value. The Play rackets provide a predictable response to an entry-level racket. Something easy and straightforward for any player who's looking for a consistent response from a racket, and this 88 Play again delivers in that regard. I found it to be very steady, especially for a basic affordable racket. But after coming across some of the other higher-end Astrox 88 rackets doing testing, I found the 88 Play racket to flex in a very linear fashion. What I mean is, modern high-end rackets are designed to flex differently at different parts of the racket. Just like a Formula 1's car's wings, some area flexes more than others. But for this 88 Play, it felt very linear, meaning you get a very direct response. You might also say there's less give in the response, but you can adjust your strings to compensate for that. But because this is an entry-level racket with a fairly aggressive price point, it's unfair to compare and expect the same refined experience as the higher-end rackets. Still, I really enjoy playing with the 88 Play and do think it's a good value option. We now move on to the S series rackets, and starting with the 88S Tour. Again, it is almost identical to the Pro version, but for some reason I felt like it had more head weight compared to the Pro. It also wasn't as smooth or easy to play with compared to the Pro, but it's close. Being 5mm shorter, it does feel faster compared to the D models, and this slightly shorter length and added speed is something really enjoyed by a lot of players. The 88S Game, again, like the D variant, is noticeably more flexible compared to the Tour and Pro model. But the difference in headway going from the 88S Tour to the 88S Game was different compared to the gap between the 88D Tour to the 88D Game. Either way, the 88S Game was more forgiving compared to the 88S Tour in my experience, and when you go back to the Pro model, you certainly find it as the smoothest of them all with the best feel. Here are the swing weight measurements I have for all the rackets for the whole racket series. So would I recommend these rackets? Yes, I would, because they're nice rackets. But I do think there's too many rackets, especially when it all comes out at once. It feels so many because in the last cycles, the pros were launched first, and it was a while before the tour game and plays came along. Also, they looked very different in colors. This time, everything looked almost identical. All at once felt a bit too much. I completely get the S and D, the front court and the rear court concept, and I get the Pro Tour gameplay price point concept. They're both great concepts, but when you launch 7 or 8 rackets in a single window, I think many of us would find that there's too many options and just shut down. 4 options at 4 different price points is a great call, but 7 or 8 when they look almost identical, even though they're supposedly technically different, is a bit scary. With that said, go try them out. Let me know which one's your favorite in the comment section below. Until then, I'll see you in the next one.